access the data by using that URL. Now let me create one more bucket now. Guys, observe. I'm trying to create a bucket. As we discussed yesterday, every bucket should have a unique name. Now I'm giving Ashok IT S3 bucket. I'm choosing this name. This S3 is a global service, but buckets are regional. Whenever we are creating this bucket, we need to specify you want to create the bucket in which region. Currently, I have Mumbai region, which is nearest to me. So I'm selecting Mumbai region and bucket object ownership, ACLs enabled access control list, object ownership, bucket owner is preferred, block all public access. So if you don't change this checkbox, then by default it will be private. Other people cannot access this outside. Now, when I uncheck this checkbox, that means I am giving the public access for that. Fine. Whenever you uncheck this checkbox, you need to agree for the license, acknowledgement you need to do. Here there is a concept called bucket versioning is available. What is the meaning of bucket versioning? Versioning is a means of keeping multiple variants of an object in the same bucket. Simple example, I'm going to create one bucket. So assume that this is my S3 bucket. I'm going to create one S3 bucket. Inside this S3 bucket, I'm storing one file that is called f1.txt, which contains some data. Now, assume that this is version 1 of that file. I have created a file. I have stored that file in the S3 bucket. That bucket is storing that file. Every of that object, the file that I'm storing is called as the object. Now, after a few days, I have modified some content in that file. I want to store that file. Then, same file I can store. Then, that file will become version 2. Version 2. Same file I'm storing after one more week. I'm modifying some other changes in the file. Then I am making it as version 3. So version 1, version 2, version 3. So you can use the versioning also in the S3 buckets for the files. Versioning is like a backup tool. First, I have created a file yesterday. Yesterday file I have stored in the S3 bucket, that is f1.txt. Yesterday that file is having some data. Today I have modified that file data. When I have modified that file data, I want to store that same file with another version. I want yesterday's file and I want the today's file also. And today evening at 4 o'clock, I have done some changes to that file. I'm going to store that file also. Same file we can store with the multiple versions in the S3 bucket. That is called versioning. Versioning is enabled or disabled by default in the S3. In the S3, versioning is used to keep multiple variants of the same object in the same bucket. What is the purpose of this versioning? We can use versioning to preserve, retrieve, and restore every version of every object stored in Amazon S3 bucket. With versioning, you can easily recover from both unintended user actions or application failures. By mistake, if somebody deleted some object in the bucket, then you can restore that object by using versioning concept. But by default, the versioning is disabled in the S3. If you want, you can enable that version. So whenever you are creating the bucket, then itself it is asking, do you want to enable the versioning for this bucket or not? Do you want to enable versioning for this bucket or not? When you enable versioning for this bucket, when you upload the same file again, it is going to update with the version. Now, see here guys. We discussed about that S3 buckets, creating a bucket. Already one bucket is available. I'm going to create another bucket now. Bucket name I'm choosing Ashok IT S3 bucket. You need to give the unique name for this as we discussed yesterday. Ashok IT S3 bucket I'm giving. Region is the Mumbai. Ownership ACL enabled. Object owner preferred. Unblock this. Block public access. Remove this. Accept it. Versioning by default disabled. Today let me enable it. Versioning means it is a backup tool. I've given some 3 points here. What is versioning? Versioning is a backup tool which is used to store the multiple variants of same object in the S3 bucket. Versioning is like a backup tool. It is used to store. It is used to store multiple variants, multiple variants of same object in the bucket. In the bucket. By default, versioning is not enabled on the bucket. Versioning is enabled on the bucket level but applied on the object level. We are enabling the bucket we are enabling the versioning at the bucket level. Once you enable this versioning at the bucket level, then it will be applied for each object we are going to upload into that object. Bucket by default versioning is disabled. I'm enabling it. Okay. Encryption technique by default it is disabled. Advanced settings, object lock. Do you want to lock that object? Store objects using write once, read many. S3 will follow warm model. Write once, read many times. Help you to prevent objects from being deleted or overwritten for a fixed amount of time or indefinitely. If you want to lock the objects, that means I don't want other people to delete my objects. I want to secure them. Then you can enable lock also on the object. Okay, you can enable lock also on the object. Those things are available here. Okay, so by default versioning is disabled. So if you want, you can enable that. You can enable that versioning. Now I'm going to enable it. I'm not giving any tag. Encryption is disabled. Advanced settings, object lock is disabled by default. Then create the bucket. Now my bucket is created. Ashok IT S3 bucket is created. See here, in this bucket currently I don't have any object. I want to add some object into this bucket. Let me create one file. Let me take one text file, notepad. Hi, how are you? I'm just writing some data. Hi, how are you? Let me save this file on the desktop with a name called f1.txt. I have created a file with a name called f1.txt. I want to upload that file. Any flat file you can upload into S3 bucket. I have created this bucket. Bucket is created in the region. S3 is global, but bucket is regional. I have created a bucket. Go inside this bucket. Now, here there are some properties available for the bucket. What is the bucket versioning? What are the tags? What is the encryption? What is the accessing? What are the cloud trials? Event notification, transfer acceleration, object locking, static website hosting, like that. There are several options are available. Permissions, objects can be public. All public block the public access is off. That means that bucket is public now. People can access that bucket. People can access that bucket. Metrics available. Total bucket size, total number of objects. You can analyze how much data you stored. Management, lifecycle rules you can configure. Replication rules you can configure. Okay, access points available. All these options we can see. Now currently my bucket is empty. I want to store some data into my bucket. Upload. You can upload a file or you can upload a folder also into this bucket. Now add the file. I have created a file with a name called f1.txt. Now select this file, click on permissions here, permissions available. By private is the recommended. That object cannot be accessed by other people. If you want the people to access your object, then you can give the public access for them. Grant public read access. I'm selecting that. Properties. Here, whenever you are selecting the object, you need to select the storage class. We will come to the storage classes later. Okay, I have created a bucket. For the bucket, I have enabled versioning. What is the purpose of versioning? Versioning is like a backup tool. It is used to store multiple variants of same object in the bucket. By default, versioning is not enabled on the bucket. Versioning is enabled on the bucket but applied on the object. When we upload the same file multiple times, then versions will be created. Okay, if somebody deleted original object by mistake, for latest version delete marker label will be applied. We can recover the deleted objects also if you have enabled this versioning concept. Okay, now let us upload this file. I'm not choosing any storage class, guys. By default I am making one object with the public access. Click on upload. Click on upload. Close it. Now can you see f1.txt file is applied. f1.txt file is applied here. Now let me modify the same file again. Let me modify the same file again, and we will upload once again. We will see versions will be created or not.
Yes, it will
Now
be
I have
created.
uploaded one file. Can we call this as one object in the bucket? Can we call this as one object in the bucket? I have uploaded one file with the name called f1.txt. Can I call this as one object? S3 will store the data in the form of objects. Yes, we can say that one object is uploaded. One object is uploaded to S3 bucket. Can I copy this URL? Yes. Can I give this URL for you? Can you guys access my object available in the S3 bucket? Can you click on that URL? Whatever the URL I have given, can you click on that URL? Can you access that?
Yes.
Can you access that, guys? Can you access that? Please respond in the chat. Are you able to access the URL which I have given? Yes, that URL is available. That URL is available. You can access. Now here there is a option called share with a pre-signed URL. Here, whenever you upload any object into S3 bucket, one URL will be generated. That is a global URL. That is called bucket endpoint, object endpoint. By using this object endpoint, you can access that object if it is having public access. Now, there is a concept called share with pre-signed URL. Now, pre-signed URL, anyone can access this object with a pre-signed URL until it expires, even if the bucket and objects are private. Okay, time interval until the pre-signed URL expires. Now, minutes, hours, number of minutes, number of hours. If I give 3, create pre-signed URL. Now here I'm going to get one pre-signed URL, guys. Copy pre-signed URL. With this URL you can access my bucket. This URL will be available only for 3 minutes access. That means I'm giving you this URL. That URL will be accessible only for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes,
It will be expired.
that URL will be expired. After 3 minutes, that URL will be expired. Okay, it is very long in the length, guys. That's why I'm unable to copy that. I'm unable to copy that. Oh my God. This is pre-signed URL of my object. What is the meaning of a pre-signed URL? Pre-signed URL means I will provide the access for my object for limited period of time. I will provide the access for my object for limited period of time. Now, let me give that in our Telegram. Let me give that in our Telegram. I'm going to post this link, guys. Now, can you click on that link? Can you access my file? Can you click on that link and can you access my file? Go to the Telegram. I have posted in our Telegram. Can you access that link now? Can you guys access that link now, which I have given in the Telegram? Come on. Yes or no? Now, what is the meaning of that pre-signed URL? What is the meaning of that pre-signed URL? Pre-signed URL meaning nothing but I want to provide the access for my object for limited period of time. I will give only 1 hour access for that URL. Within 1 hour you need to access. Within 1 hour you need to access. After 1 hour that URL will expire. You cannot access. That means I want to provide the access for the people for limited period of time for my object. Then you can go for pre-signed URL concept. Then you can go for what, guys? Pre-signed
Pre-signed
URL
URL.
concept. When you go for pre-signed URL, what is pre-signed URL? What is a pre-signed
Pre-signed
URL?
URL for
See here,
AD.
when you create share with a pre-signed URL, pre-signed URL
Anyone
means
can access the object in the URL.
you
But
are
all
going to
people must
specify
access specific
the time
URL.
limit for your object to access for the people. Now I'm going to create now. So some people will tell you whenever you go for register some account in any website, they will tell you you need to confirm your email by clicking on this link. This link is valid only for 24 hours. After the 24 hours, that link will expire. Have you received any such kind of mails? This link will be valid only for 24 hours. After that, that link will expire. Did you get that kind of emails? Yes, that is called pre-signed URL. In the S3, for our object, we can create pre-signed URL. Pre-signed URL means limited period of time that URL will be available. limited period of time that URL will be available. I'm going to give the access now. Can you try accessing that URL now?
It will be
What is happening? Can you try
access
that
denied.
URL now?
Request has expired.
Pre-signed URL, can you access now?
No.
Guys, can you access it now? Tell me what's happening.
It will be
When you
expired.
access
The
that
access
pre-signed
is
URL, what
denied.
is happening? Can you tell me
The
now?
request has been expired.
Are you able to
You
access?
have a limited time. No.
In the Telegram, I have given one link for you. Click on that link now. Click on that link now. Are you able to access that URL? What it is saying? Denied. Why it is saying denied?
Because the time
Why it is
limit will
saying
be
denied?
expired.
Why it is saying denied? I have given 3 minutes access for the URL. After 3 minutes, that URL got expired. That is called pre-signed URL. Guys, remember one point. We are creating S3 bucket in order to store our files. Every file we store in the S3 is called as one object. For every object, one URL will be generated. That is called endpoint URL. By using that URL, anybody can access. That is a public URL. That is a public URL. Now, there may be a scenario. I want to share the URL for the people for limited period of time. I want to share that URL for the people for limited period of time. Now, I want to give the access for my objects for 1 hour. Within 1 hour, if you want, you can access that. After 1 hour, that URL is going to expire. That is called pre-signed URL. We can create the pre-signed URL for our objects. How to create the pre-signed URL? Check it here. Select this. Select the object for which you want to create the pre-signed URL. Select this. Go
Then
to
go to
actions,
action,
share with a
TPS,
pre-signed
send
URL. I want to share my object to the people with the pre-signed URL. Share with the pre-signed URL. It is asking how much time you want to give for the people to access. Do you want to
minutes or hours.
set the limit within the minutes of time, or do you want to set the limit within the hours of time? Here we have two options. Minutes option available, hours option is available. If I give you 1 minute, that URL will be generated, that URL will be available access for 1 minute. After the 1 minute, that URL will expire. After 1 minute, you cannot access my object. So that is a concept of pre-signed URL. That's fine. Now tell me, my bucket is having a versioning or my bucket doesn't have a versioning? I have created a bucket. My bucket is having a versioning or my bucket doesn't have a versioning? My bucket is having some version. Can you tell me what is the purpose of versioning in the S3? If you want to store multiple variants of the same file, then you can go for versioning concept. If you want to store multiple variants of the same object, then you can go for versioning. By default, that versioning is disabled. If you want, you can enable. I have enabled versioning for my bucket. Versioning will be enabled at the bucket level. It will be applied at the object level. I enabled versioning for my Ashok ID S3 bucket. Then what all the objects you upload in the bucket, for those objects, versioning will be enabled. Okay. Now here, there is an option called show versions. Show versions. Now f1.txt is available. Now can you see? There is a version ID. Whenever you enable a version, whenever you enable a versioning for the bucket, then for every object, for every upload, one version ID will be generated. Now, let me go to this file and let me modify this f1.txt. Hi, how are you is available. Hi, how are you? Where do you stay? Where do you stay? I'm writing other content in the file. I have modified file content. I want to upload that file once again. Add file, f1.txt, upload it. Upload it. File is uploaded. Close this. Now show versions. Can you see that? Two versions created for the file. Can you see that? Two versions created for the file or not?
Yes.
Two versions created for the file or not? Yes or no? Now, same file I have uploaded. I have uploaded at 19:15. I have uploaded 7:15. I have uploaded f1.txt. Then after I have uploaded at 7:25. At 7:15 I have uploaded. At 7:25 also I uploaded the same file. I have modified the file content. I have uploaded that file. So if you want to upload same file with multiple variants, then you can go for versioning concept in the S3. Versioning I have enabled at the bucket level. It is applying at the object level. Now let's take one example. I'm going to select this. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to select this file which I have recently uploaded. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. Whatever the object I have uploaded, I'm going to delete this object. Permanently delete the object. Very good. I have deleted my object. I have deleted my object here. Are you guys able to understand this? Now go to buckets, S3 buckets, S3 buckets, show versions. F1.txt file is available. Version ID is available. Storage class is available.
ସେ ଲିଙ୍କ ତମେ
Properties.
ସାର ଆକାଉଣ୍ଟ ସହିତ
Bucket
ଲିଙ୍କ ହେଇନି
versioning is
ସେଟା
there.
ପ୍ରେସ୍
Bucket versioning is enabled.
କଣ
Tags,
ପଠେଇଲ
default encryption. Now permissions, objects,
କେତେ ଟଙ୍କା
objects, show versions. One version is there. Action. There is the recovery option. F1.txt. Object action, object URL. Additional checksums, metadata, object log. Versioning concept in
wait for a moment also check ଖାଇବା ଖାଇବା ଗୋଟେ ଖାଇ ମୋର ପରା କେତେ ଟଙ୍କା ପଠା ହବ କି ଯୋଉ ତାଙ୍କୁ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଏବେ ପେମେଣ୍ଟ କରିଦେବି କି? ହଁ ତମେ ମତେ କେତେ ଟଙ୍କା ଦେବାର ଅଛି? 590। ହଉ ଠିକ୍ ଅଛି, ମୁଁ ପେମେଣ୍ଟ କରିଦେବି। କାଲି କରିଦେବି କହୁଛ ତ? ଓକେ। ଆଉ ମୋର ଯୋଉ ବାକି ଅଛି ପଇସା ଦେଇନ ତ? ହଁ କେତେବେଳେ ଦେଲା ଯେ? ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ ସ୍ୱିଗିରୁ କରିଥିଲି। କଣ ଦେଇଥିଲ? କଣ? କୋଉ ଦିନ ଦିନ? ଦେଇନ ବା। ଦେଇନ। ହଁ। ଦେଖିବାକୁ ପଡିବ। ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ବାକି ଖାତା ଖୋଲିବି। ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଡାଏରୀ କରିବି, ବାକି ଖାତା ଗୋଟେ ଖୋଲି ରଖିବି। ତମର, ବାପାଙ୍କର ଆଉ ଡାଡିଙ୍କର ହେଲା, ଏ 3 ଜଣଙ୍କର ହିସାବ ଖାତା ଗୋଟେ ଖୋଲିବି। ତମେ ସମସ୍ତେ କଣ ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ବାକି ଖାତା ଖୋଲିଛ ନା କଣ ଦୋକାନ? ସମସ୍ତେ କହୁଛ ଆଗ ତୁ ଇଏ କର, ତାପରେ ଆମେ ପଇସା ଦବୁ। ମୁଁ ଆଉ ଦୋକାନ ଖୋଲିନି, ଦୋକାନ ସଟଡାଉନ କରିଦେବି। ସଟଡାଉନ କରିଦେଇ ଦୋକାନ ସଟଡାଉନ ହେଲା। ବୋପା ମା। ତମେ ପୁରା ତ ଡାଡିଙ୍କୁ କହିଲ, ଆଉ ଏଇଥିରୁ କହିଥିଲା ଡାଡି ନଦେଲେ, ଡାଡି ଆସିଲେ ଦିନ ଦେଲେନି ପଇସା ଆଉ। ହଉ ଛାଡ। ଦେଖିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ଆଉ। ମୋ ଟଙ୍କା 10,000 ଦିଅନି। ଖର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରି ତମେ ଦେଲେ ତ ଗଲା, ମୋର କଣ? ତମକୁ ଏତେ କଥା ପଚାରିବ କି? ଖର୍ଚ୍ଚ କରିବାକୁ ଦବ, ପଚାରିବ କାଇଁ ଏତେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍? ନାଇଁ ତମେ କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ପଚାରିବନି। ମୋର କିଣା ହେଇନି କିଛି। ତିନିଟା କରାହେଇଛି, 2ଟା କରାହେଇଛି। 3ଟା ନାଇଁ, 2ଟା ହେଲା ନା। ତମେ ମନା କଲେ ପୁଣି କାଇଁ କହୁଛ? ତମେ ମନା କଲ, ତମେ କେମିତି ଭୁଲି ଯାଉଛ ଯେ? ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି, ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ କିଣିଛି, ମତେ ପଇସା ଦେଇନଛ, ମତେ 10,000 ଟଙ୍କା ଦବ। ତମେ କଣ ଦେଖୁଛ କି ମୁଁ ପିନ୍ଧୁଛି? ତମେ ଦେଖିନ, ଦେଖୁନ କିଛି ନାହିଁ। ମୁଁ କାଇଁ କହିବି? ତମେ 10,000 ଟଙ୍କା ଦବାର ଅଛି। ନାଇଁ କ୍ଲିୟର ନାହିଁ, ଆଉ ମୋ ପାଖରେ ପଇସା ନାହିଁ ଆଉ। ଏଇ କାନର ଏଇଟା କିଣିକି ନେଇ ଆସିଛି ଯେ ମୁଁ। ତମେ ତ ପଇସା ଦେଲ ନା, ମୁଁ କିଣି 4ଟା। ଦେଖୁନ, 4ଟା ଆଣିଛି ତ, ଏ କାନର 2ଟା, ସେ କାନର 2ଟା। This amount is pending, already pending ଅଛି। କଣ ଦବ ନାହିଁ? ସେଇଟା ବାକି ଖାତାରେ ଲେଖା ହେଇକି ଅଛି ଯେ। ହଁ, କିଛି ଲେଖା ହେଇନି ନା। ଯେତେବେଳେ କମ ଥିଲା ସେତେବେଳେ କିଣିଦେଲାନି, ଏବେ ଅଧିକା ରେଟରେ କିଣିଲି। ଆଉ କଣ କିଛି କାନରେ ପିନ୍ଧି ପାରୁନି, ଖାଲି ସେଇ ରିଙ୍ଗ ଗୋଟେ ହିଁ ପିନ୍ଧୁଛି। ଏ ବେଲୁନଟା ଫିଙ୍ଗିଦେଲ କଣ ଛାଡେ ବା? ଇଏ କଣ କହିଲା? ଅଲ କ୍ଲିୟର। ମୁଁ ଘରେ ଥିଲା ବେଳଠୁ କହିଛି, ସେ ନ ଶୁଣିକି ଧୀରେ ବଜେଇଛନ୍ତି। ସାଇଲେଣ୍ଟ କି ଆମ ଘରେ ଥିଲା ବେଳେ କହିଲି, ତମେ ତମର କହିଲ ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁର ଆସିଲେ କିଣିବି, ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁର ଜାଣିଛି 2 ବର୍ଷ ହେଲାଣି ବ୍ରହ୍ମପୁର ଆସିଲେ ଖାଲି କିଣି ଦଉଛ, ମୁଁ ଏତେ କିଣି ନେଇଲି। ହଁ କହ ନହେଲେ ଏଟା କେମିତି ପିନ୍ଧିକି ବୁଲୁଛି। ହଉ ଛାଡ, ଦେଲେ ଦିଅ ନଦେଲେ ନା। ମୁଣ୍ଡ କାଇଁ ବଥେଇଲା, ଶୁଣିକି ବଥେଇଲା 10,000 ଟଙ୍କା ଦବ ବୋଲିକି। କେଜାଣେ ଭାବିଲା 10,000 ଟଙ୍କା ଦବ ବୋଲି ମୁଣ୍ଡ ବିନ୍ଧିଲା କଣ କଲା। ହୁଁ କଣ ହୁଁ ହ୍ୟାଲୋ, କାଇଁ ଶୁଭୁନି କି? ହଉ ଫିଲହାଲ ସାଇଲେଣ୍ଟ ଜୋନରେ ଅଛ ଥାଅ। କଣ କଣ ମେଘ ଥିଲା? ମୋର ତ ଜାଣିଛି, ତମର କାଇଁ ଥିଲା? ହଉ ଠିକ ଅଛି ଆଉ।
The S3 versioning I have enabled at the bucket level, it is applying at the object level. Now let's take one example. I'm going to select this, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to select this file which I have recently uploaded. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. Whatever the object I have uploaded, I'm going to delete this object. Permanently delete the object. Very good. I have deleted my object. I have deleted my object here. Are you guys able to understand this? Now go to buckets, S3 buckets, S3 buckets, show versions. F1.txt file is available, version ID is available, storage class is available, properties, bucket versioning is there, bucket versioning is enabled, tags, default encryption. Now permissions, objects, show versions, one version is there, action, there is the recovery option, f1.txt, object actions, object URL, additional checksums, metadata, object lock. Okay, somewhere there will be option where you can get that. Deleting the specified objects cannot be undone. Permanently delete these objects. There should be a delete marker whenever we delete the object. I think that option is not available here. Show all versions. Let me upload the file once again. Add the file f1.txt. Select it. Permissions. Public access. Properties. Storage class. Upload. Close this. Now show the versions. 2 versions I have uploaded for this. Now copy this URL, properties, permissions, object is public. Yeah, guys, in the previous version, when we delete the object, it will create a delete marker when I delete this object. Every version will have a unique ID. When we delete the original object, then it will create a delete marker on the latest version. So to restore our object, we have to delete the delete marker. I think currently this delete marker is not displaying. Click on delete, deleting this file. Type permanently delete. Let me delete it. Delete the object. I have deleted. Failed to delete. Yeah, close. That object got deleted. Selected actions.